Hello, hello, everyone. How are we doing? How are we doing today? Right, we're back. We're gonna do some more hangout and hobby, basically. Doing more of what we did last time. It is Adepticon today. There was a big old release stream this morning. Nothing for Warcry. I did say there was going to be nothing for Warcry, but if you guys want, we can go check out the things that has been previewed, if that's something you're interested in. There's also a big old Warcry event happening at Adepticon right now. I think it's like 32 players, which is something that we can go check out maybe a little bit later. We can go check out some of those lists. But yeah, I think for now, we are kind of gonna carry on, right? So last week, this is what did we get done last week? We did a lot of green last week. Now this isn't how I left it. Let's go here. This isn't how I left these pieces last week. I kind of they were a lot lighter. What I did last time, one of these greens, I think it was this one, Orc skin. No, basically one of these greens. I washed everything. This is kind of what we got. I wanted it a little bit darker, so what I did is I went over it with this stuff, plate green, along with Old Faithful, wherever it is. What is it? What is it called? I can't even remember. Aha, here we go. Non-oil, basically. 50-50 mix of that, and this is the kind of color that it gets. Then I was testing out some, here we go, I was testing out some color schemes on this, a little bit of dry brushing, and I quite like this. I think this is the final green, the final color that we're going to do, or we're going to have rather on these pieces. So that's what we are going to do today. We're going to carry on with the Scales of Talaxis set. Maybe we check out the Adepticon, see what happened at Adepticon, and basically carry on. Of course, like last time, oh, brushes aren't working. Like last time, I'll be here to take any of your Warcry related questions. Anything you want, really. I'm here to do it. I'll be here for the next couple of hours. And yeah, we can just do some hobby and get through the big old pile of shame. If you weren't here last time, this is basically for God, what is it for? UK Games Expo. That's right. So we are going to UK Games Expo. There's going to be a big old event happening over there. At the moment, we've sold, what is it, 40 tickets, I think, something like that. And we need terrain because we don't have enough tables. So that's what I'm helping out. I've already got a terrain piece that I'm donating to that cause. I've got Sundered Fate plus a little bit of stuff. But I got Scales very recently and I really enjoy it. So we're going to have Scales of Talaxis board there, which I am very much looking forward to actually finishing. We got about half of it, I think, undercoated, something like that. So we're just kind of going to carry on, I think. But yeah, anyway, so what are we doing? I've got all this green undercoated. I got this thing undercoated as well. I've got, what is this? I don't even know what this is. Lime green. We are just going to dry brush the entire thing lime green. Very lightly, and then we're going to do all of this metallic trim. And that's basically it for the green areas. Then I can actually start doing interesting things like all of the basing and like some of the rope and whatever. I did build this thing with separate separate what? All the bamboo. Here it is. All the bamboo is separate. So I got to paint that later, but we'll get to that when we come to it. It certainly won't be today because I've got a ton of stuff to do. Right, so let us begin. Yeah, so we're gonna go lime green, I think. Do this dry brush. I have to be very careful with this dry brush to make sure I base. OBS Studio disconnected. Oh no. Yeah, so we do have Adepticon. That's happening. There was that stream this morning about like what was it, 2 a.m. or something, London time, which is kind of crazy. I did not stay up for that stream. I have enough problems staying up as it is. What with like a 3-year-old child at home, like you got to get as much sleep basically as you can. I think what happened, I went back and rewatched it. Oh, I didn't watch all of it, right? I went back and rewatched the whole bit of it. And on the preview video that they did on YouTube, if you go and look through those comments, it's like every other comment is like, "Where Warcry? Where Warcry? Where Warcry?" And we kind of thought, okay, how far into this video are they going to get without being able to mention all the people asking for Warcry? They went right to the end, asked for questions, and yeah, so they kind of had to talk about the fact that everyone's asking about Warcry. They gave the kind of stock answer that I expected them to give. It's like, oh yeah, watch out on Warhammer community, and then you'll find something. But yeah, I kind of found it a little bit funny. I did say that I didn't think there was going to be anything for Warcry at Adepticon. If people are still holding out for a new edition, I guess it's going to come more in the summertime because that seems to be when they like to release their stuff. Even though I've said in the past I don't think there's going to be a new edition this time around. But yeah, they showed off a whole bunch of things. I think, right, so I've been thinking about this quite a bit. And if you take a look, there we go, that's nice. I like that. If you take a look at Games Workshop's reveals and the state of their reveals and what exactly they show off at each one of these events, I really think that Games Workshop basically have run out of stuff. I don't think that they have nearly enough content to release in terms of new models. to be able to fill all of the different events and all of the different shows and cons and whatever that they like to go to, and they like to show off things. So yeah, I think it really shows. We've seen it for the past two things. Hi, Jen. Welcome to the stream. I think we've seen it for the past couple of events shows, right? That they tend to just like show off very few new things. And it's a lot of, oh yeah, here's a bunch of repackaged stuff, or here's a bunch of stuff that we've shown you before, like several weeks or months ago in some cases, but we're going to fob it off as new content, right? So let's take the Age of Sigmar Spearheads, for example. They said, oh yeah, we're releasing 4 new Spearheads. There's like an Ogre one, a Bone Reaper one, and a couple more. The ones that I forget. Oh, there's a Cities of Sigmar one, and I think there's one more. But basically, it's no new stuff. And when they sell it to people as, oh yeah, here's new stuff for you to look at, I think that's like kind of disingenuous of them, because you can't say, oh yeah, we've got big reveals coming, big reveals, and then just show people basically repackages of existing models and existing kits. I think that kind of sucks. And so, yeah, I reckon Games Workshop just don't have enough stuff to be able to release. And I think they're stretching themselves too thin. And I get it. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, for my game, we want to show off things. We want to make sure new things are coming. But like, if you don't have it, you don't have it. Don't promise people. Don't promise people that you're going to show them new stuff and ended up showing old things. I reckon that even at Adepticon, if the only thing they showed off was like the new kill teams and the Army of Grand Cathay for Old World, I think that would have been enough. Personally, I don't think you need this like massive extravaganza every 3 months at whichever con you're at, because you've got like Adepticon now, and then you've got Nova in the summer, and then whatever else Games Workshop want to do. So that's what I think on that. Davithos, do I think they'll be releasing Mordheim and dropping Warcry with all the teasing they've been doing? No, I don't think that Mordheim is going to come back. Personally, I mean, I said this last time. If you've ever played Mordheim, the rule set is like fucking, excuse my French, clunky as shit. Okay, it's like it very much shows its age. I mean, the rule set would be from what, like the 90s or something at this point. It's very clunky. It's very like it doesn't play like a modern war game would, really. So I think if they were to re-release Mordheim, it would be basically in name only. The great thing about Mordheim was the storytelling that you could do. The progression of your warbands. Your guys are basically your guys, right? And you can really tailor them to be what you want. I mean, think of Warcry less, not Warcry. Think of Mordheim less like Warcry and more like Necromunda, and that's basically where we are, right? It's like Age of Sigmar Necromunda. Now, I don't know about the sales of Necromunda and the appetite for Necromunda. One of the things it's got going for it is the link to the 40k IP, which kind of really helps. They also have like a lot of care goes into their miniatures and what they actually produce. Because I mean, I love the Necromunda models. Like everything they produce is like knock out the park. But in terms of like a skirmish game, Necromunda is very much story driven, and it isn't the kind of game that I think would appeal to broader people. I think Games Workshop kind of want to put out games like Kill Team and games like Spearhead and whatever, like as an entry point for people to get into their game worlds. And if I was working at Games Workshop, I'd want to put out less games like Necromunda because it's just like it's very difficult a game to like wrap your head around if you're new to wargaming. It's not very friendly to new people. There's a lot of rules going on, a lot of rules interactions. There's a lot of story based stuff, and that doesn't necessarily make it all that accessible as a game. So that's why I think we're not necessarily going to see. What are we talking about? Mordheim, yes. That's why I don't necessarily think we're going to see something like Mordheim come back, because Mordheim was very much like Necromunda. So I think it would really only come back in name only. Or if it comes back, it'll come back as a kind of narrative campaign style warband. Not warband, a narrative campaign style game mode for one of the bigger games. But then again, if you look at Kill Team 3, I think we're in, right? They dropped basically all of their narrative elements out of the main rulebook. So I don't know. I really don't know the direction that Games Workshop would want to go. That being said, like I've said this before, I don't think Warcry is going anywhere. I just think we're in a bit of a lull where Games Workshop produced this game. They didn't really know how popular it would be. They didn't know the direction that they wanted to go in. They thought, oh yeah, this is going to be the most beer and pretzels of beer and pretzels games. And things like Warhammer Fest 2 years ago and the increasing events and what John Bracken said, like, what was it, last April it would be now. I think that's an indication to them that they might want to change the direction of Warcry, make it more match play friendly, look at the balance a bit more. But the problem with Games Workshop is that it is a slow ship to steer, right? If you want to bring out new models and new rules, we're talking years in advance. And it's not generally something that, like, they're not so, like, a massively agile company is what I'm trying to say. And if they are going to release something new, it's going to take them time to do it. Do I think we should be worried? No, I don't. No, I don't think we should be worried at all. As long as Games Workshop continues to release FAQs and erratas, and I think we're due one soonish, right? Because the last one was in September. So I think one might come maybe this month or maybe next month. It's weird. It's like the Warhammer community team has a lot of say in when things are released. It looks like, and like we've seen this before. Like you see, oh, these are done. Are these done? Nice. We've seen it before in. You just have to look at the timestamps of stuff. So if you look at the Warcry FAQs, you'll see like, oh yeah, this was stamped to be a March release, and it actually came out in April. The September release, I think it was like August or something, and because it says it in the document, and they don't come out until a bit later. So it really does come down to whenever Warhammer community finds the space to schedule things in. I'm sure that their scheduling is like labyrinthine, and I'm not entirely sure who gets to say what comes out when for Warhammer community. But I personally think that it's going to come. We kind of just have to wait for it, really. Is Spearhead not a substitute? No, Jungle Camper. I don't think that Spearhead is a substitute for Warcry. Because it's not really a skirmish game, right? It's very much Age of Sigmar light, and if you do not like Age of Sigmar, then you're not gonna like Spearhead. If your thing is list building and making your guys, as I've said before, then again you're not gonna like Spearhead. It's just not that kind of game. And I've played a whole bunch of Spearhead, And for me, it just doesn't scratch. Yeah, exactly. Their necessities. It doesn't scratch the same itch. It's like they have spearhead events at Warhammer World, um, and the format of those events is very much you take 3 spearheads with you. You choose which spearheads you want to use. Um, so that's how they do their spearhead events. But yeah, they're just Spearhead just isn't a skirmish game. It's completely different. So I don't see them sitting in the same niche. I just think of it being smaller Age of Sigmar. Really. Yeah, Demetrios, exactly. The only way people can see the games are similar is if you haven't played them. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Welcome, Demetrios, also. And Bare Necessities, welcome to the stream. For you guys who've just come in, I am painting a bunch of stuff for Demetrios's event that's going to happen. It's going to be up at UK Games Expo. We need tables, so I am painting tables. Yes, there was Adepticon today. It's kind of cheaty, so I will absolutely take it. But I really like the effect. I like the coverage. I think the metallic sharpies are kind of the way to go if you want to do trim on any kind of models, because they're real easy to use, basically. And this is what we're going to be aiming for. We've done the green, we've done the dry brushing. We're going to do the metallics. We're going to highlight the metallics with more metallics, and it's going to look real cool. Hopefully today I can get all of this stuff in front of me done, so that I can move on to some other things. You actually get in Sundered Fate, not Sundered Fate, Scales of Talaxis. That's right. You get 2 of this sprue. So I've actually got to do this twice, and then there's another thing that I totally forgot to undercoat. So we'll probably have to do this again, but it's absolutely fine. I love this terrain set. It is kind of fantastic. But yeah, Spearhead. So they're very different games. Spearhead isn't skirmish. If you want to check out Spearhead for anyone who hasn't played it, I actually did a Spearhead video, a live Spearhead video, one of my very few live games that you guys can go check out. I did my best because I was testing a whole bunch of stuff, but it was Nighthaunt versus Sylvaneth, and it was a lot of fun, considering it was the absolute first time that me and Charles both played Spearhead. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we've got little triangles. Ooh, like this. That's pretty good. I like that. And we will highlight this. How will we highlight this? With metallic silver. And if you're ever highlighting metals, you can kind of cheat, right? You don't need to highlight the entire thing. You just do the edges and it kind of works. My paint style is very much cheat as much as you can to make it look good, basically. There we go. We have, what have we got? We got Warhammer World coming up this weekend. That's going to be pretty fun. I am going up there. So the event is on Sunday. I think it's like 33 players or something, 36 players, something like that. So it's I find it kind of funny that UK Games Expo being third party at currently 40 players. There are a bunch of tickets left. I think there are 8 tickets left to bring us up to 48. Yeah, UK Games Expo is going to be bigger than Warhammer World, which is kind of fun. But yeah, anyway, I'm going up there on the Saturday. So I'm going to be meeting up with Demetrios. We're going to be meeting up with Toast. I'm bringing Charles with me. Hopefully get to record some stuff. That would be nice. Maybe do some stuff up at Warhammer World. We kind of don't know yet. Well, I mean, I don't know yet. I'm waiting for Demetrios to actually tell me. to be doing. But yeah, we'll meet up, record some stuff. Maybe we'll do some wild dice. Who knows? We'll do some live action wild dice podcast. And there we go. There we go. Easy. The easiest thing in the world. Can I go up? Yeah, I can. Doing the highlight on this metallics. So that's two. Next up, thank you, Heinz. Yeah, it's looking okay. I think it'll be all right. Is there any metallics I want to do on this thing? Maybe these? Just what I'm gonna do. Something like this, just to make it a little bit more visually interesting instead of just green blob. Let's do something like that. I had planned to go in, highlight all the cracks, and do all that kind of stuff. But you know what? The dry brush works, so I'm just gonna keep it with the dry brush. It looks cool at a distance, like tabletop ready. It looks good enough for me. That's what we're gonna keep. There we go. So a little bit, something like that. Should do the other lines. Let's do the other lines. Why not? I got nothing better to do. So yeah, I'll have this sprue to do again, but it's all super easy, right? It's just washes, dry brushes, more washes, more dry brushes. Um, that's basically it. Nice. Okay, that works. All right, next one. Then we will highlight that section and we will move on to the big boy who doesn't have bamboo at the moment. But I got a recipe for that bamboo, which kind of works. It's kind of quick. Again, it's a lot of washes and dry brushes, but you know what? Makes it look good. Here we go. Cool. Anyway, how's everyone been doing, right? Because I can't just sit here speaking into the void. What kind of things you've been getting up to for Saturday? Demetrios, you're bringing a bunch of stuff to live stream some games. Aha, that'd be pretty good. Yeah, I'm probably gonna bring a table with me because it's something that I can just throw in the car, right? And bring with me. So yeah, maybe we live stream. That'd be kind of fun. I will have a fight with Toast. Do you want me to join chat? You know what? Yeah, you can. Where can we go? Yeah. Come and join me. I've got a channel open. What was I saying? Live stream. Yeah. So I will probably have a fight with Toast to see where we're going to live stream this onto. But Saturday, either on my channel, Toast channel, whatever. We will surely do something. Do I want these? I think I want these as well to be bronze. Yeah. Just get a little bit of extra detail in there. Vasilak. Oof. I do enjoy like that entire Underworld's Warband. I kind of love. I've always liked Vasilak. Actually, I think he's one of the more interesting characters. It's what is it? So he's kind of a halfway house between a Lord of Pain and what is it? Like your medium guys. You've got the defense guys. Their names kind of escape me at the moment, but yeah, I love Vasilak. I guess you're gonna have a Slake Slash also in there because Slake Slash is amazing. There we go. Yeah, we'll have Demetrios come and join. Maybe if we're lucky, we have Toast jump in also a bit later. We will see. All right. So, highlighting all of this. So it's basically just a case of faking highlights. Just like the edges is all you need to do. That's the work. Painbringers, yeah. That's it. Myrmidesh, haha, yeah, you've reminded me. Yes, so Myrmidesh Painbringers. Vasilak is kind of like if they had a lord, which is something I really like about him. I love the range too. I love the damage profile actually. I think the model is super nice. Right, there we go. Very good. Perfect. Okay, cool. That's fine. I will take this. If you can't even see, there we go. Look at that. Nice. And all of these edge bits, I've got like our brown. It's basically going to go on there. It's going to be highlighted, probably dry brushed. That'll be pretty good. Can we find Demetrios? He said he was going to come. He's going to come. All right, so now the big boy, this wherever it is, this thing. A lot of detail. I don't know. Well, I'm going to do this right because this is going to be the same as these, which will be good. Maybe I'll pick out a bunch of these panels. Maybe do these like as gemstones or something. That would be cool. All of these spikes I can paint separately, so that should be fine. In fact, I can do the spikes to metallics. I can do these as like gemstones. I won't bother with any of this detail in here because I think it looks kind of nice, and a different color on the gemstones, maybe a red or something, should be cool. And I'll do this to metallics. That's what we're gonna do.
Hello, good sir.
Oh, hello, Demetrios. Demetrios is here, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah,
Welcome to my painting stream where I talk into the void for about 2 hours.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, I just wanted to jump on because I'm also painting. So might as well. KO, my KO.
Oh yeah,
I was
you
painting for
went to the
fun, but
dark
no.
side for Warhammer World, right? Because you wanted to
Yeah,
play Corrosion Overlords.
yeah. So I had a bunch of them, kind of like in unbuilt.
Sure.
And I thought this is as good a time as any before they get nerfed again, probably. So,
They've been doing
yeah.
well, so I mean, you know what? Now's as good a time as any.
But yeah, no, I'm going through my kind of cycle of I did Iron Jaws. I've done Stonecast. We're doing them. Might do Bespoke next. I did get a second set of Jade Obelisk,
Oh, nice.
so that's gonna be nice. And also Nogrin Myrmidon that I got as a consolation prize to myself for absolutely bombing with the poor brutes. But
Oh right, last time, right?
yeah. But yeah, I mean it's going all right. I'm waiting on food, so I don't know. I might disappear for a bit.
Sure.
Not too long in the future, but I put some pictures up of where I am so far with
Do we
my.
take a look? I can totally do that. That's something that I am able to do. Is look at other people's
It
pictures of stuff
was just on Instagram.
on
I put
Instagram.
some of them up.
Okay.
So I've gone for dark colors. I am a big fan of like kind of more matte armor on them, and I have gone for ivory and like an ivory base coat, and then I have
Yeah.
this
You know what?
Wonderful.
Send me a link, and I will be able to get it there because I think I've
Oh,
done
yeah, sure.
stupid stuff. Yes, Chris. Hello, Chris. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, that's a pen, right? We're using metallic sharpies to do all of this trim. So all of this metallics is done with metallic sharpies. Um,
So I was
because
gonna say the only problem to have a problem with Sharpie metallics are like weirdos, because like it just gives you so much control while when you use it.
it does, yeah, yeah. So the only issue with actually using them is that you gotta seal after you use them if you want to put washes and stuff on. And you'll do all sorts of things after that. I would advise varnishing, so like just put a spray varnish on top of that. But yeah, after that, they are absolutely fantastic. But yeah, send me a link. We can take a look at your stuff.
Message link is with you. My headphones are dying. Oh,
Copy, paste, pap. Okay, so if I do this correctly, I will shut this. I can. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Bam! There it is. There are. So these are your Creator Overlords, right? So gold is done. I guess the face is done.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, no,
No?
nothing is
Nothing.
finished.
Nothing
Finished.
is done.
These are base coats.
Oh, right. Okay. Because it
Uh,
looks like
uh,
you got a wash or something on the head of Bald Man.
I did. That's the first wash. We've got wash 2:15 to go.
Yeah. What about second wash and third wash?
Yeah. Oh, I like being a bit of a tryhard with the whole thing, but no, I mean I only have so much time, so I don't think I'm gonna be
Yes.
going nuts for these, but it's it's decent. It's kind of like it's a decent paid not paid job. Like it's a good plan that I've got to
Yep.
keep it like relatively simple. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be nice, and it's gonna be a lot more matte than the usual like kind of tons of just all different kinds of metallic colors.
Sure.
I just never particularly felt that bit. So
Well, I mean, you've got
only
like
having
a day and a half to get them done.
yeah, and to be honest, I've taken time off work because I was like, I don't want to rush myself.
Sure.
And it's near the end of the year, so I had to use it. Um, so um, did both of my headphones just die?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah. So so I took the time off, and I thought I'd sit and do some stuff. But I've really been enjoying um seeing you paint the terrain that you've been painting.
Nah, scales.
I really like that green. It goes well with the gold.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like, it's a more fun set to paint than I originally thought. Um, because you've got these like big open areas of green, like they really do handle like dry brushes and washes super well. So I'm
Mm.
kind of happy at that.
Yeah, and painting terrain is just so much more free. Like people really worry about like painting big things, and
Hmm.
it's like no, it's exactly the same. It takes more or less the same amount of time, but like you get to do it with bigger brushes,
Yes.
basically.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
that's
it
one
depends.
big
I
thing.
remember back in the day when I didn't have a lot of money. We had to we were painting for events, right? And I was playing 40k, and I had a Land Raider, and I painted an entire Land Raider with like a Citadel standard brush. That was painful.
Yeah, I can. Oh, yeah,
This tiny ass
How
Citadel
long did it
brush.
take you?
It took a while. Not gonna lie,
Mm,
but we got there eventually. I was playing. At least I was playing Black Templars at the time, right? So it was just like, here's a lot of black, but I couldn't dry brush or anything like that with like this tiny ass fucking Citadel brush thing. But that was back in the day. That was like years and years and years ago.
yeah. No, I came into this hobby pre, you know, exactly the kind of people that now annoy me, where it's like someone gets into the hobby and there's so much content out there that you come in and you can hit the ground running and
Yes,
like you know
yes, totally.
exactly what you need and what you can use and all of that. I was that person. Um, and now people are doing it even faster than me and it annoys me.
Mm. Well, you
In
went
a
in
good way.
right
I
with
know
like
I'm wrong.
no previous experience like painting or anything like that, and then it was like, I'm gonna follow these tutorials, and then suddenly you're like pro painter.
Mm, yeah, it's like it's incredible for the quality of the work that is put out there.
Hmm.
Because you see people get through the kind of first awkward stage of like painting, um, and they get to grips with things and a lot faster. And I think that's good for the ones that really like, because there's some people that like painting and some people that don't. And
I'm one of the people that don't like painting at all.
yeah, and that's fine because like it's almost then you kind of build different um then you kind of build different skill sets
You do.
because
You,
then
you you totally do.
yeah, because then what you're doing is you're focusing on speed, um and like decent quality, but you're focused on speed. You
Yeah,
want to
totally.
have it done. um and that's a completely different skill set, I think, than painting competition. And I think you can combine the two. Like over time, I started getting faster just by like experience, but
Hmm.
um, painting for competition can just be a fucking slog.
Well, didn't you
Um,
say you wanted to enter Golden Demon at some point? Or you did enter Golden Demon or something like that?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I've entered Golden Demon many times. Well, many times, a few times. Uh, I had pieces in both in Warhammer Fest and the first one that they did after the pandemic, but it was more so for the experience and for the fun of it than um, being up to the standard of the whole thing. Um, so yeah, like it doesn't really. I've I know what I need to do to like seriously compete. I know what it
Yes.
takes,
Well, it's like,
and
oh,
I
you've got to put in your
don't
10,000
want to do
hours, right? Or however many.
it. And I don't want to do it these days.
Yeah.
I'm like tournament, sure. I mean, I have a couple. The only thing is sometimes you have, or this is what happens to me. I have like specific pieces in mind that I know I have to have specific concepts for like things that I want to create.
Sure.
Um, I have like a dual piece that is stuck in my head now. But in the past, um, I had one of my favorite pieces was I have an Ideneth piece,
Hmm.
which was it came to me when I was fishing with my father when we were visiting Greece, and my wife came up to me with a boatload of like little shells that she had gathered, like barnacles and stuff. And I had seen a painting that was like Renaissance kind of like mermaid and it just kind of really played on the mermaid slash kind of Idoneth idea of a very pretty, surface level pretty elf that also has like a dark side of how it has its sustenance, like how it survives and stuff is by, killing sailors or, stealing souls. And then that got stuck in my head and I had to do it. And eventually I did it and I entered it as a diorama. So sometimes that will happen and I need to get out of my head. Like it's almost compulsive. But the amount of time. And it's just everything needs to be really, really good.
Yes.
Like you can't leave any bit of it. And I'm just like, ugh. I don't know.
That's it, right? You want to be a good painter, you want to win events, right? You've got to
Well, yeah,
take the time.
I think it's about like doing the piece justice. But also, my food is here, so I'll be right back.
Sure. I will take some questions from chat. Right, Jim, who had zero Age of Sigmar models on their Adepticon reveals? Adepticon reveals bingo chart. Oh god! So I talked about this a little bit, like right at the beginning. If Games Workshop do not have any new models to show, and all they have is reboxes of existing stuff. Just don't show it. Don't say that it's a new box, or don't say that it's new product or whatever. Because ultimately people know, right? They know that you're just reboxing stuff. They know what you're doing. So why bother doing it? Is it just to pad out? And I'm pretty sure, in fact I'm almost 100% sure, that it's basically just to pad out the runtime and to say they have more stuff coming than they actually do. But God, yeah, that's what I think. The Spearhead boxes, Fallout Boy. What does everyone think? You know what? I haven't actually checked what is in the new Spearhead boxes. Shall we check? Shall we take a look? Right. I can totally do this. This is something I can do. Haha! There we go. It's almost like I had this planned. That I was going to look at it, but I never actually did. So let's see what's in these Spearhead boxes, because I haven't looked yet. So, new Spearhead box set, Sand and Bone. They are going with the Warcry, Briar and Bone, Hunter and Hunted thing, naming convention. It looks like. Rehash of the Warcry starter set terrain, which is fun. Is it just exactly the same as? Yeah, it is. Totally, it is. It's just Crypt of Blood terrain. Okay. With boards and with the new cards. I guess these are going to be all new cards for this year. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be. Here we go. Let's take a look at the new spearheads. Four spearheads. You can win one, sign up to the newsletter, and a bunch of stuff. Okay, so seriously, Fusel Platoon. Okay, you get the Ogre, which is good. So I'm looking at this from a Warcry standpoint, right? You get the Ogre, which is good. You get the Gunners. You get this guy, and then you get Wild Occult Hunters. So, if we remember what Rob brought, it was like some basic dudes, a command set, some Fusiliers, and that Ogre. Then it could be potentially good. So I think if you combine this with a box of basic Cities of Sigmar, then you can get two real good. I think you should be able to get two real good warbands out of this, because the Ogre's solid. These guys are solid if you take like a couple of them. You will need a hero. Like you can just bring the hero. Well, no, you don't need a hero because you got the ogre, so it doesn't really matter. You'll want the banner though, and the banner only comes in the command set. So that's probably where you want to be with this. If you're going to buy this, buy a box of basic cities of Sigmar, buy the command set, and then you've got 2 real good warbands. These guys, the Watercop Hunters, you can convert and you can make a real good warband out of that. So I think this is fine. This one is what? Hunters of Huan Chi, Spawn of Chotek, Saurus. This is the Jaws of Itzel. Seraphim Blood. Why are the Jaws of Itzel in here? Why are the Jaws of Itzel in here? They're brand new. They've literally just been released like a couple of months ago. That's bizarre why they would be in this box set. Unless they're not selling, in which case they package them in this box set. That's always a thing, right? So this is not as good. I think you can still buy the Hunters of One Chi separately. So if I wanted to build this, you probably want. I think there's another Lizardman Spearhead that you would want to go with instead. If you wanted to build Lizardman, and if you wanted to build Hunters, you just get the 1-box Hunters, right? And then you convert and you build all the allies that you want out of that. So I don't think the Seraphim one is that good for Warcry. Bone Reapers, arms and thing, and so this is the guy who has synergy with these guys. I think it's like it's a what is it? Not a pot grot. Is it called pot grot? No, it's not pot grot. Whatever it is, the one that gives bonus attacks for destruction. He's got synergy with these guys. You've got the arms. So I actually don't think this is all that bad. If you bought a box of basic Ossiarch Bone Reapers, like their chaff, I actually think this is a pretty good spearhead. Actually, no, it's not, though, because you don't need 2 sets of this. All right, if you had a friend and you both wanted to do Ossiarch Bone Reapers for Warcry, buy this box, split it in 2, buy 1 box, you get 10 or 20. If you get 20 guys in the box, the basic chaff box, get that. If you get 10, buy a box of OBR each. I think it could be okay. But it's just like most of these spearheads, you get way too much stuff. I think it's like the Iron Jaws one is the only real one where you don't get like a massive amount of things. And maybe the new gosh, what is it? The new Soulblight Gravelord one is also pretty good. And the new is that not the bonus attack guy? No? I mean, if it isn't, you use him as the bonus attack guy, because that's the one with the synergy. No one knows what model it is anyway, so I think you'll be fine. Right, and next, ogres. Ogres are fantastic. Ogres, as they are fantastic. You get more than enough Noblars, more than enough ogres. You can't use the scrap launcher in Warcry, unfortunately, despite me asking. You can't use it. You do get Frostgorn's Man Trappers, though. Frostgorn's still great. Quiv and Bushwhacker, I think it was, or one of the two, I can't remember which one, or maybe both of them, went up in points. But Frostgorn himself is fantastic, so again, you basically get twice the amount of stuff you need. It's weird that you get 2 boxes of Iron Guts, and not a box of Iron Guts and a box of Ogres. That's strange. I would have expected this just to be a box of Ogres, but it's not. And you get the scrap launcher. So for Warcry, this one isn't so good. I don't know about Age of Sigmar because I don't play it. But yeah, out of all of these, I think if I was going to buy one, I'd probably buy the Fusel Platoon. Yeah, I'd most definitely buy the Fusel Platoon. I think that's what we want. Most definitely. Right, let's get back to painting. There we go. What was I doing? Gold? No, not gold. Little gems. Yeah. So I was doing little gems here. These should be fine. Just to give. I mean, I know it's green and these are red, so it's going to make it kind of look like Christmas, but it should be fine. He says. And then these are the easiest things to do, like the red gems. You could kind of leave them like this if you really wanted to, but it's like as so highlighting these. It's like that very old Citadel tutorial to highlight these, which is like, oh, you need a lighter color and a darker color, and the lighter color goes on top, the dark color goes on bottom, and then you just do like a dot of white. Will I do that? Probably not. But I think, you know, I actually think this looks all right. I don't think that looks terrible at all, personally. I think that's okay. Do I have any other reds that I can use? I've got, what is this? Evil Sun's Scarlet. Maybe. Uh, this is a red wash. No, I think that's just what we're going to do. We are going to do a little dot of white though, because a dot of white is fun. What is this? Well, I have game air. I don't want game air. I just want normal white. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse my terrible um, painting equipment, but it's what I got. That's what we're going to use. So it should just be you go dot. There you go, like, just like little tiny dots, and then just to give the idea and the impression that there's some kind of light shining off this. We are cheating. We're totally cheating, but I don't care because it looks cute. Dot, 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 and I missed one. Missed one. Let's make sure that we clean our brush properly because otherwise we're basically going to end up with pink, and we don't want to end up with pink. There we go. There we go. Cool. All right. So I think on these pieces, green is done. All right. So we got these two. These are done. These walls are. You need to be highlighted. I'm going to highlight you. Highlight this. Again, just more of the silver sharpie. Because the silver sharpie is cool. Let's do here. There we go. Yeah, so on Saturday we're going to try and stream some games, like some actual in real life games. So that'd be pretty good. The reason why I don't do that more myself on my channel is partly because I don't have the equipment to do it. All I really have is like this tripod that I've got here that I stick my phone on top of. And it kind of doesn't go well, and you need like lapel mics, and then the sound goes weird, and it just is what it is. That's why I don't do a lot of live stream games. But you know what? If you're in a quiet space, you can do it. We're gonna give it a go. We're gonna give it a go. Probably they will be warbands that we're gonna use on the weekend. So that should be fun. All right. So next. So green is done. Brown? Should I do the edges? I think I should do the edges. Yes. How? I think wildwood. Wildwood. Let's also use a better brush because this brush is crap. Okay. Brushes. Yeah, so the way this is going to work, the edges are basically just going to be brown, and I will dry brush, wash, do whatever I need to to make it look good. It's a little bit fiddly, but it'll work. Do this tree as well. There's a tree on one of these pieces. There we go. As always, for anyone, if you have any questions about Warcry or anything, let me know, and I'm happy to answer. As we know, we did not get anything for Warcry at Adepticon. Kind of sad. People said, like, oh, we're going to see the new edition. I always said that I don't think there would be a new edition shown at Adepticon if it's going to come this year at all. But you know what? I still think that, I mean, as far as we know, we should still get an FAQ at some point, like an FAQ errata. It should be sometime soon if they do it like 6. So, like they were doing it roughly, give or take, every 6 months or so. So that's something that we should see. I hope. I really hope. I reckon if like the time to start panicking is if we get to like August and there's no FAQ and there's no errata. So I think we're fine for the time being. Like there is so much in terms of actual things that you can do in Warcry. Even today, there are so many things you can do. Right? Like there are 57 warbands, I think. Yeah, sure, not all of them are all that good, but in terms of painting projects and all sorts of, there we go. Yeah, that works. Yeah, in terms of like painting projects and all that kind of things, there's so much to do already. And you know what? Even though it would be really good for publicity to have a new Warcry starter set and a new edition, it's just more stuff for me to have to do, really. So I'm kind of glad to have this like lull in product releases because it means I can kind of just like focus on hobby, focus on doing things, focus on getting it done. But that's just me. I know some people. I'd be that patient until August. Well, no. I said I think we should start panicking if we don't see anything until August. Would it be a bit squeaky bum time? Probably, maybe, possibly. But you know what? Like I can wait. I can wait. Right? We've seen it. We've seen what Games Workshop does and how they work. And I personally think that Games Workshop's release cycle, just like not even talking about Warcry, let's talk about Age of Sigmar or 40k, or even Kill Team to some extent. I don't think that's a sustainable release cycle because I don't think they can they can feasibly keep up with the rate at which people now expect product to come out. So I played like way back when I played Warhammer Fantasy 2nd edition, was it? 3rd edition, something like that. And FAQs erratas basically non-existent. You were lucky if a year after your codex's release, you got an update to your codex. Like basically, what was written in codex was lore, and that would effectively never change. And this was during the time of what was it? Hydras. So not Daughters of Cain. They weren't Daughters of Cain at the time. Dark Elves. Dark Elves had War Hydras, and War Hydras were basically broken. And if you went to an event, it'll be like, oh yeah, here's double War Hydra or double steam tanks, or you know, there were all sorts of really broken things, and you could be safe in the knowledge that that thing would not get updated, it would not get errated, would not get FAQ'd. Basically for the entire like release of the game. And they would do like, here's one new codex or army book or whatever, and it would be like one new codex every, I don't know, 2-3 months. and you just kind of accepted it, and that's the way it was for a very, very, very long time. I think it's only with like the more modern editions of 40k that we had this whole, okay, we're gonna update the codexes, we're gonna update 2 codexes every month, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. But every time a codex comes out, we have to have new models, and we're gonna do the same thing for Age of Sigmar and the same thing for all the rest of the war games. It was only like, I want to say, in the last 10, 15 years. I think the most noticeable one was, during the pandemic. There was a 40k edition released during the pandemic. I can't remember which edition it was, and that was the first one that really like sold out, and they had massive stock issues. I would say it's from then. That's when I definitely noticed Games Workshop really ramping up their release schedule. And yeah, I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think they can do it. So maybe they see that. Maybe they want to tone back a little bit. I don't know. Possibly. They did say an update every 6 months. They didn't say specifically there would be an update for Warcry every 6 months in terms of FAQs and erratas, but that's what they did because they've released two. Right, the first one was in April. Second one was in September. They said periodically they would do updates and they would do it as quickly as they can. So I think 6 months is a decent time, to be honest. I think that's absolutely fine. I'm not one of those players who needs an update every like 3 months or so. I don't think Warcry moves in terms of the meta and how many events there are and that kind of thing. I don't think it moves quickly enough. Do you need erratas every 3 months? But yeah, I think 6 months is a good enough time. It allows them to get enough games in. Jungle Camper. I didn't understand Crypt of Blood as a starter set. Yeah, that's a really big problem. So, okay, there's two sides of Crypt of Blood. One is for the existing player, and it is absolutely terrible for existing players, right? There's no reason to go get it at all, which is strange because if you look at, I don't want to keep comparing to Kill Team. You look at Kill Team, you look at the start sets that come out for Kill Team, they release new stuff, and existing players will go out and buy that stuff because it's new and it's really cool, which is good. Existing players will not buy Crypt of Blood because there's absolutely no reason for them to. Like, they don't need the terrain, which isn't full terrain anyway. They don't need the war bands because they're not full war bands. And a lot of that sentiment kind of filtered into new players who would want to buy Crypt of Blood, because what would they do? They would go online and they'd say, "Oh, how do I get into this? What do I buy? Is Crypt of Blood good?" And then existing players would come and say, "No, Crypt of Blood is garbage," etc., etc. So, as a quote unquote traditional starter set, like comparing it to other starter sets, it wasn't good at all. I think what it was good at, if you, instead of thinking of it as a starter set, think of it more as like not a board game, but almost like a board game. So you buy it, and then it's very small scale. You can play it in like not even in an afternoon, in like a half hour or something. And as like a flavor of Warcry, I think it was fine. If you liked the models, I also think it was fine because I think at the time you couldn't buy those kits separately. All right, you could because Calthi was everywhere. You couldn't buy them separately very easily. So yeah, like it was for a very specific audience, Crypt of Blood, and it wasn't close enough to one of those like starter sets that we would think of as starter set, I think, to ever be very useful. If you get me. I know I've kind of gone around the houses, but yeah, that's where I stand on Crypt of Blood. I said this. I was talking about this last week, actually. That this set, Scales of Talaxis, I believe is like a missing second edition. Not second edition. A missing season 2 for Warcry. Because if you look at what you get in the box. You get the terrain, you get the board, you get the cards, all the rules for the terrain, all the rules for the cards, all that kind of thing. And that's basically what you get in Scales. And then you add that to like Hunter and Hunted or Briar and Bone or whatever. You add that set to any of those, and suddenly you got a real good starter set. Like a real good starter set. So yeah, I think that's what was supposed to be the the next, like, either Warcry 2 or, sorry, not Warcry 2, Warcry 3. That's what's supposed to be the next thing, and but like at some point they kind of decided to split up the boxes and just release Scales of Talaxis as its standalone thing, but then again, it was only ever on short release, so they never printed enough of them, and then, they split up all the terrain, and then suddenly it went from, okay, there's this £60 set that you can buy that's actually a decent enough investment, because you get the board, you get everything, and then all you need to buy on top of that is one of these doubles boxes. So we went from that to, yeah, there was this £60 set you could buy, but now you can't buy anymore. So that's what I think happened. And eventually they just dropped it. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. Like, there is no need for them to produce Crypt of Blood, right? They basically, as a product, it does not need to exist if Scales of Talaxis was still on sale. Because you could go into a shop and you can say, I want to start Warcry, and then the local Games Workshop guy says, all right, here's this box. It's called Scales of Talaxis. It basically has everything you need in terms of terrain and cards, and then you can buy any 2 warbands you can play. And the combined price of all of that would be comparable to a traditional starter set. And then Crypt of Blood doesn't need to exist as a product. So that's what I think happened. Whether that's true or not, I have no clue. I cannot tell you. So yeah, it's a shame, really, that this product kind of was on limited release and got discontinued, and that Games Workshop tried to go the cash. It's really weird, right? So they produced the set, sold out of the set, then split up the set into more pieces, as kind of like, I don't want to say cash grab, but it was probably like, that was the idea, right? We're going to sell this set and then we're going to split it up, and then this is how we're going to make our money selling individual bits. But you would never buy individual pieces of this terrain set. Not for Age of Sigmar anyway, right? It's massively unwieldy. It's not very useful for Age of Sigmar. It's only really useful for Warcry. I kind of liken it to the Hablocks from Necromunda. They did Ash Wastes. Evening, Demetrios. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, like they did the hab blocks for Ash Wastes. Like, you would never buy those that terrain for Warhammer 40k, and in the same way, you would never buy the terrain for Age of Sigmar. This terrain, anyway. But for Warcry, it is what it is, and in my view, I reckon they would have sold a lot more of this if they just kept producing the whole box and said, yeah, here it is. These are the things that's going to be on the shelves. We're going to sell this. We're going to sell just the doubles boxes of warbands. And that's it. And I think, especially with how Warcry is at the moment, where there are people who want to play it, but the way in is very difficult. I think it would have been a winner for them. That's my idea. And yeah, terrain, basically, yeah. All Games Workshop terrain is massively overpriced for something that you absolutely need. I think Kill Team only gets away with it in their starter set because it's made of MDF and it's basically walls. And that's how they manage to keep the starter set so cheap. But I almost guarantee you, if the MDF terrain that you got in the Kill Team set was made of plastic and like their traditional plastic terrain, that set would be like $20 more expensive. Easy, easy, easy. But you know what? They had a price point. They wanted to stick to that price point, so they did whatever they needed to do, especially in the starter set. Right, I'm gonna get all this brown down. I'm gonna wash the bone, I think, and then not wash the bone. Yeah, wash the bone. Do some dry brushing. Pick up the little skulls because there's skulls all over the place. And I think that'll be basically it for these sets, right? I think it should be done. Yeah, the Kill Team set is more expensive than the old one. Games Workshop prices will not go down, is the long and the short of it. Because between inflation and their need for more money, the prices are not going to go down. So you will never get starter sets or anything like that the same price as they used to be. I mean, like back in my day, you could buy Space Marine bike, a single Space Marine bike, and you can buy it for £5. And I have no clue how much the new Space Marine bike sets are, but no doubt you got to buy them in threes, and they probably cost you 60 quid. Like they can get away with it, but that's kind of it. It doesn't help for the price. Like, I'm not going to defend Games Workshop, but it doesn't help from a pricing perspective that everything is based out of the UK, because they have to pay UK pricing and they have to, all the export costs they have to pay. I know, like President Trump, I don't know if he's put tariffs specifically on Games Workshop just because he doesn't like playing the game or whatever, but that all helps to increase the pricing, and you've got shipping costs and whatnot, all this kind of stuff. Like, it just is what it is, and Games Workshop will continue to increase the prices, and it will always be above inflation prices. So it's sad, it's true. Seems kind of like a shoot in the leg with more accessibility to 3D printing. As long as people keep buying and put the price up. Yeah, basically that's it. Like, yeah, you can 3D print, that's fine, but you got to remember what Games Workshop's MO is. Their idea is to try and keep everything within the Games Workshop ecosystem. So they want you to go and buy Games Workshop products, play in Games Workshop terrain, play in Games Workshop run events with Games Workshop stuff. Basically, that's the long and the short of it. And everything that you buy, from the paint to the clippers to the glue to everything, should be branded Games Workshop. And that's what they want you to do. And that's what the majority of people do. That's how the majority of people play, and that's how the majority of people interface with the game. Because ultimately, if you're going to walk into a Warhammer store, they have everything that you need. And you don't need to walk into a third-party store. So if Warhammer is like your first foray into tabletop wargaming, and you go into a Warhammer store and they have everything that you need, you are unlikely to go anywhere else. Now, there's like old gits like me who have basically been around forever and know that there are other alternatives. And yeah, you could 3D print. There's all sorts of things you could do with terrain. I like terrain and warbands and models and whatever. If you play casually, then yeah, go for it. You can 3D print whatever you like, and it's basically all fine. But because Games Workshop have tried to keep everything within their ecosystem, if you go into a Games Workshop store, you basically have to use Games Workshop models. You kind of have no choice in the matter. Same way if you go to a Games Workshop run event, all of your models have to be Games Workshop. So 3D printing kind of won't fly unless you can hide it, and people basically don't see. So that's it, right? That's what their whole thing is. They will stop people from going to 3D printing by making it more convenient for you to just go into a Games Workshop, like a Warhammer shop, and getting everything you need like that. That's what the plan is, and that's how they plan to do it. Now, I think as 3D printing gets cheaper, people get more resources. I still don't think we are at the situation at the moment where 3D printing is like freely available for everybody, like everyone. Like I've looked into 3D printers. I really want to get one, but then it's a question of, okay, well, am I really going to use it? Um, is it something I'm going to get a lot of use out of? And the answer
I
always
can
comes
tell
up
you.
as no. So I might as well not spend the money to go get a 3D printer um, to play Games Workshop stuff. If I had like a massive gaming club that I could go to and they did a lot of terrain and a lot of models and I could play like weekly, then yeah, maybe that's something that I would be into. But as it is at the moment, it's just not something that's particularly useful for me. Right, so I need. What's the
I'm
color?
at
What color do I do the bone? I cannot, for the life of me, remember. Is it a
A10.
brown? Oh, hello, Demetrios. You're
I
back.
I was gonna say I can give you like the perspective of someone who's had a resin printer
Ooh.
first. Like I got the first Elego, the first Mars,
Yeah.
and it is kind of in the middle. Has it saved me a lot of money? Yes. Have I run it in the last year? No.
Um,
It's it's messy and it needs space, and it's not yet at the point where it is easily and clearly, something that is an alternative without, I would even say without risk, because like it's
one of the
not
ones that
a
needs
healthy.
like ventilation and stuff.
I mean, all of them need ventilation, but so the resin ones have some volatile gases that you need to kind of eh, eh, not inhale. So it's good when it runs to not be
don't huff the
around you.
volatile gases, people.
Don't know. Um, but yeah, it requires you to not be in the room while it runs. Now, on the other hand, my wife's like, "Oh, smells like a nail salon," and I was like, "Ah, is that the kind of resin nails you guys get?" So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know, but
You're
like
printing nails for your wife.
printing nails. No, 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 no. It's the way they do their nails. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's the
But
varnishes, right?
it's
All the varnishes.
yeah. Well, no, it's because they put it on and it's like they activate it and then they cure it under the lamp in the same way. Like I use a nail lamp
Right.
to cure my prints. So I think the base is the same, but yeah, the point is that it is a bit of a palaver. But as I said, it has saved me a lot of money because firstly, I was using it as a DM a lot, like a lot. When I was a DM, it was so great to be like, hey, my guys need to fight a red dragon and like 6 kobolds or 10 kobolds. I don't know, you know, just random things. And then you just kind of get the files and you print them, and that's it. It's great. You've got everything you need for game night. Well, you still have to paint it, but yeah. That was a problem for future Demetrios. Um, but especially when it comes to like big pieces, like it's a lot easier and a lot less hassle to like go and get a unit of, I don't know, Fusiliers or like Free Guild,
Mhm.
right? It's annoying to print that many models, but when GW's like, hey, would you like to pay £80 for insert, big headpiece model, you can get like a dragon for a fiver or a tenner
Yeah.
for the file, and then spend another like £5 to print it. And you're spending, your time and effort and energy, but you would be doing that anyway. So, if it's saving a bit of money, then that's not too bad. And then yeah, it's the price differential on the big models is just so big that it
Mhm.
makes it worth it for me. Even though, as I said, I haven't ran it in about a year, but I have that's mainly because I just need to do a bit of a cleanup of the area around here. Like my studio needs um a major overhaul.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just because it's such an involved process, is all.
Yes.
So
I think it depends,
yeah.
right? If you're a player like me, for example, who's not going to play all that much, or who doesn't play all that much, like relatively speaking, right?
Mm,
And is only really gonna like my model requirement in terms of the amount of models that I need is actually really, really low. But if you're
mm.
running a gaming club, or if you are doing like D&D or whatever, and your requirement for models is really high, then yeah, sure, it becomes much cheaper, much cheaper.
Yeah. Um, yeah, to be honest, the only time that I've really just gone, okay, we actually need it up and running is prepping for the tournaments. Because
Yes.
the prizes are gonna probably be laser cut, because I just prefer, you know, like nice little wooden things rather than 3D printed. But like 3D printed doesn't feel heavy enough for what it
Yeah.
is, what it's
Yeah.
supposed to be
You want it some heft, because if
representing.
if it's like a trophy, you want it to be like, oh, I want it to feel like a trophy, right? It's not like
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of going from metal miniatures to resin miniatures when they did Finecast.
Hmm.
It was like, this thing is super light now, so like it doesn't feel like, even if it's the
It
same
needs to
model,
feel right.
it doesn't feel like it's the same model.
Yeah.
If you get me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, the but like 3D printing terrain, um, we got some of the Dark Fantastic Mill stuff.
Hmm.
So we're planning on getting some of those printed just to have extra tables. Um, and also because I really like them, and that's a good excuse for me to have some more sets of terrain.
Sure.
Um, and all of that though is not on resin because the resin would be too expensive. It's
Yes.
on the FDM. Um, and then I don't know, depending on the amount of people that sign up, I'm planning on getting some nice little mementos, whether that is pins, dice, the kind of the usual stuff. Um, so we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited about it. And that's going to be next month's planning. Is going to be like getting these things sorted
Yes.
because we are
It's end of
two
May,
months
right?
away. Yep, it's end of May, start of June. So 31st for the last one.
Yeah. So I
For
need
the
to
sorry for the competitive one.
I need to finish this terrain set. In fact, no. I need to
Mhm.
figure out what I'm going to be bringing, because I have absolutely no clue. Uh,
It's a Yeah, I can but you know what the thing is, like there's so much time between now and then,
hmm.
and I'm really hoping that they do bring out something. So there might be like new options, new stuff, but I don't have to worry about any of that because I'm not playing, which is a
That is
blessing and a
true.
curse. It's a blessing and a curse because so I have a slight fear, right? And I know it's completely unfounded, and I don't want to freak anyone out in chat, but I'm like, there is no tournament. Usually they do a June tournament, and in the June tournaments, there is no Warcry tournament. So I'm
Uh,
like,
what are
how
you
long
talking
is it
about
gonna
at Warhammer World?
Warhammer World?
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, it's
yeah.
every 3 months, roughly, give or take.
Yeah, so they've released the June tournaments and there's nothing there. And I was like, that's great because it means that I'm not competing. And a bunch of people aren't gonna cancel, you know, their tickets to go to Warhammer World.
Hmm.
But also, I'm like, right, well, get something out in July. Get something out in July, please. Because like, if they don't run tournaments, I'm kind of out of luck. Because I can't win my own. So
Sure, okay, I get you. You like playing the game, you want to
yeah,
play in events, but you can't enter your own events,
yeah,
right? Because you're running them because they're like 48 guys.
exactly. Yeah, and it's also like it's not great optics
Hmm.
to like enter your
Well,
own tournament.
Demetrios, for you to win your own tournament, you're gonna beat me. So it's just saying.
Yeah, but it just doesn't feel right. It's a bit like that. You know that reaction image that is like Obama putting a medal on Obama? It just,
Yeah, yeah. I know it
So
looks a bit weird, right? Like, oh, I'm running an event just to go and win it myself.
yeah, that's why I keep pushing Toast
Do
to
you
run
Northern
his
event?
own. Uh, that would be that would be sick. I did find out that there's there's apparently people playing that he doesn't know about, and like slowly kind of figuring. It's so funny because we're talking about Warcry all the time and how people are playing and not playing it, and then every now
Yeah.
and again, um, I'll have conversations with people like at tournaments or in the street. Um,
You
and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like
just run into someone. Oh,
really."
do you know about Warcry? Why are you chasing me, Demetrios? Why?
No, like I talk about Warcry entirely too much. I bring it into work conversations, like all kinds of things. You know, when people are like, "So what do what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I play Warcry." They're like, "No, no, I mean for work." I'm like, "Fucking cares about work? Like, this
I play
is the
Warcry. What are
important
you
bit."
talking about? Is there anything else?
Exactly. Uh, but I so people will be like, "Oh yeah, no, I know Warcry," and I'm like, "What?" Continue. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, our pals play every like weekend, and there's like a group of like 10 people." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, where
And
did you
there's
come
these
from?
little yeah, there's these little islands of Warcry, and sometimes it's exactly the kind of people you were talking about that play like, "Oh yeah, we play our first edition war bands
Yeah,
with the cards like once every month, and we
yeah.
have done that for the last 3 years." It's like,
Hmm.
whoa,
Why
you
haven't you
guys are
been like talking to anyone else in the community?
I know,
Uh,
right?
yeah. Or Jam says, I think all this uncertainty and silence would feel less bad if I had a local scene that played anything either than 40k and Kill Team. That's it, right? You like so the thing about that is you'll always find people to play 40k with. Um, and I think you'll always find people to play Kill Team with as an extension because 40k is part of that world. But yeah, like it's almost like when we're talking about local Warcry scenes, they kind of just seem to keep to themselves. It's really weird. Like I've done a bunch of polling with the community, right? And most people in the community like are kind of just playing. They're playing Warcry the way they want to play it, and they're not super vocal, and they kind of just do it, right? They might play a couple of games every few months or whatever. And these people are out there, and I think these people make up like a way bigger percentage of the community than we think they do, and that we
Mm,
generally give credit for because, like, generally online, we're like, oh yeah, the competitive community is what it is, blah 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 blah. But the reality is that most of people playing Warcry aren't playing on in a competitive sense, um, and
mm,
they're just playing it for fun. And for me, the biggest challenge is to get those people who are playing Warcry basically for fun, get them engaged with stuff like match play and events and that kind of thing. Um, and then you have a game that grows and a community that grows.
no, I agree. I think on top of that, I had a really good point. I think I forgot it.
It's gone. That's it.
It's gone. Oh, yeah, no, I remembered. Um, the thing is, like, after you've played your first few games, right? Um, there's like 2 or 3 ways you can keep Warcry fresh. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's there's you either go narrative and you start playing narrative games, or Um, you start getting different war bands and kind of like exploring your different options.
Yeah.
Or the last one is with a tournament scene. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of movement on the tournament scene, because I
Yes.
think it lends itself to being a good tournament game.
It does. Yeah.
Because
It totally does.
yeah, because it's good with having a scene because you start playing and the games are quick. The tournaments are like I would say as painless as it gets. And then you have a lot of incentive to just go and build something else, try another team, like build something new. And that's where it comes from. I think that's where the danger is because suddenly, like, like me, you look around and you have like shelves and shelves and you kind of go, how do we get here? Why am I
That's
in
the
an
hobby in
Age of
general,
Sigmar?
though, right? Like that. That's
Yeah,
unavoidable.
that's how. No, but that's the thing. That's what happens when you have a good game and people like it and engage with it.
Sure.
Like they really get into it. And the narrative side, we know, and we've been told. I say we know. The narrative content is really nice, but also you can't. There's obvious errors and issues with specific items. You kind
Yeah.
of have
Like
to work around
short
it.
campaigns, it works for. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but the scaling is such that I think just because right, Warcry as a rule set is a simple game, right? So if you're gonna
Mm,
have a narrative way where you can make your fighters better and like items that make them better and they do different things, that can quickly get out of hand in terms of like the actual game framework, how it works. And I
mm.
think that's the biggest complaint that narrative has is exactly that. You can't run a narrative campaign for like weeks on end because eventually the fighters they just scale
Yeah.
way out of control.
Yeah, I think that's one of the top things that I would like them to solve if there was a new edition. Um, or if they do like, I don't know, Tome of Champions or whatever.
Mm.
Um, but I think that's part of why you're seeing like competitive scene, and then you're seeing people playing around with models that are primarily maybe Age of Sigmar and stuff. Um, and trying all their different teams. So the list building works because they'll play like random teams, and then the competitive works, and then the narrative has some traction, but none of them are like 100% like intuitive and like fully working. Well, no, the except for the competitive, I guess. Competitive works really well,
Mm. Well, I
better
think
than they
so.
ever thought.
Yeah, exactly right. They didn't know what they had basically when they
100%.
made it. Um,
100%.
yeah, Jam.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
Trev.
that's why it's a bit difficult to keep a local scene going. But like, it's not possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like you kind of just have to put in the work, really. So Jam says, yeah, traveling to a tournament is one of your goals for this year. Where are you in the world, Jam? If you could tell me that, maybe we can point you towards something because there are events happening all over the place fairly frequently ish. So maybe we can find something. Heinz says, never been part of a tournament from Germany. Nothing happening over here in terms of Warcry. Yeah, so Germany, I don't know about. I don't know about the local scene there. Um, it's weird, right? So I came from, I did like 40K, I did Age of Sigmar, Fantasy, all that kind of stuff. And for me, traveling to events wasn't something completely out of the ordinary. So I've been to like the States for events and like stuff like that. Um, so I think if you're going to travel to one and you want to travel to one, I think Warhammer World is basically where you want to go to, especially if you are in Europe. Because if you're going to go to your first event, I don't think like there can be like you can go badly with your first event being at Warhammer World because it's kind of like a destination thing. You can go there and it will always be a good time for you, especially in Warcry, like the game itself. One more scene is awesome. You can basically kind of play as you want to. Jam is in the northeast of the UK, so Demetrius, is that Toast's area? Like where? I
That
don't even
would
know
be
where
if
he is or
it's
where he's from.
if yeah, no, if it's around like kind of the Newcastle wider area,
hmm
then yeah. I have to go to train to go to York or Darlington. Yes, I mean, so yeah, the nowhere to play is such a big deal
hmm
because like we're having the same problem up here in Glasgow where there's a few places where you can go, and we were very lucky to have like one of the original geek retreats, like right next to the train station, and because it's like the original one, it doesn't have like the predatory practices. Because
okay.
it's not it. Uh, Geek Retreat is a whole thing, but like they've run on a very high commission, like franchise commission.
Okay.
But the one in Glasgow is the original one, so it doesn't work on that. It's owned by them,
Sure. Okay. Okay.
which means you don't have to feel bad about supporting a shop that absolutely like drains its franchisees.
Mm.
Um, well, in a way, you do, but like I don't know if there's that many open. Anyways, that's a whole conversation.
So sometimes you
Um,
just have to take the hit if you want a place to play.
yeah, exactly. And it's the same in Edinburgh. Like, there's places that are like easy to get to. There's a few places that are easy to get to, but most of them have to like charge pretty hefty like hourly fees to
Oh,
like
like table fees you're talking about.
table fees. Yeah. So it makes the whole proposition because when I run my monthly stuff, right, we go there and we stick around and we play for like 4 or 5 hours because at Geek Retreat there's no table fees.
hmm
Um, they just work off of like food and sales, so you
Sure.
make sure to buy stuff and stuff like that. Um, but like any other place, being there for like 5 or 6 hours for the amount of people that show up, it would be a decent chunk of change. And it's really difficult to find places these days where you can just kind of sit and exist without having to pay a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's another thing that's not really helping with the hobby. But those places exist. It's just sometimes they're not in the form of what we expect. So it might not be a games cafe, but it might be like a cool pub that's a bit quieter and just the right tables and has a person behind the bar that actually kind of likes the games and doesn't mind if people are sitting around and playing. You know, there's alternatives.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
our games club, our local games club, is in a church hall that they basically rent out the space once a week. Um,
hmm,
and that's
nice.
basically that. But there are. I think you just kind of yeah, you're right. You either need to find a game shop that has the facilities for you, or you almost have to do it yourself. But that's a difficult thing, right? If you just want to play some games, like do pickup games, for example, you kind of need a place where people are playing those games already, and that's kind of the biggest one of
Yeah,
the biggest hurdles.
and it's difficult to not. It's difficult to bring a game into an existing place without feeling like you're trying to poach players away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I do want to poach players away because I genuinely think that my system is better.
My game is
But
better than yours.
that's just straight up. Don't make me tap the sign that says that Warcry is the only awarded
It is.
GW system.
It totally is. We'll keep on saying it until people understand.
But yeah, no. Oh, that completely flashbanged me again, and I completely forgot where I was going with this.
Poaching. You don't want to go into a new place and play a
And
game and make
poached.
it feel like you're poaching players, even though you are.
Nah, that was the detour. My point was
Oh,
further back. Um, the thing that just keeps coming up is the gentleman that said, um, that's in Germany.
Hmm.
There's Warcry. Sorry, I just remembered that I'd seen. So there's Warcry in Murtig. It's a tournament that's happening in June, and it's currently in War Tally. It's got 11 players, and it's Awa Echt tabletop EV.
The wonderful German there,
Yeah.
Demetrios.
Nah, I mean, no, it's not my strong suit, the German.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I have seen other um I've seen a lot of people from Germany actually complaining that they don't get a lot of tournaments. Um, and I am sorry. I am not coming over and making you tournaments there.
Yes,
Um,
Tabletop Scotland goes to Germany for your
go worldwide.
the German branch
Imagine.
of Scotland.
But yeah, no, I've heard there is obviously uh, there's obviously people that want to play.
Yes,
It's just difficult to get all of these things started.
it is. It is. I mean, it took you the longest time to build up um, Warcry into what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still would say there's a lot of it's going really well with um UK Games Expo, but like Scotland still doesn't have like a super developed scene.
Mhm.
Um, not for lack of players, it's just the numbers. Like the players we have are great, and they pick things up really quickly, and when you and Toast have come up, they're giving you rough games, like
Oh yeah, no, the good players.
difficult games. Um, but but yeah, it's just numbers. It's just getting
Hmm.
enough that you can comfortably run when people are like, because life gets in the way. Life always
Yes.
gets in the way. So knowing that you have like a steady standard number is like a concern across, because I know that for a lot of the regular clubs, um, it's a concern, and why it's why a lot of clubs kind of turn into a lot of Warcry clubs turn into kind of more generic or general skirmish clubs. Um, so like with the Glasgow one, we've also taken in um Underworlds and Spearhead,
Sure.
and I see it as a positive because of the amount of crossplay that is between the systems, and I'm always a big fan of like fully maximizing the value of what you've bought. So if you get Spearhead, sick. You probably, if they keep packaging them like this,
Hmm.
have an Underworld warband.
Hmm.
You maybe have a Warcry warband, so you can play all three games. Sick.
Totally.
You show up in an afternoon, and you get to play all three games. You get to play Underworlds, you get to play Warcry, you get to play Spearhead, and then that's one day out of your month. So that's the proposition, and I think it's going to pick up.
I mean, if you look at event attendance keeps on going up. They're at
Yeah,
Adepticon at the moment, right? Adepticon's what, 33 players or something at the moment?
I think they had 32. By the
32,
way, that's
32.
ongoing.
That is ongoing. Yeah, we're going to take a look at it once I finish like this chunk of paint. I might take a look. Well, I've got like another 10 minutes or so to go. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, after that, we'll take a look to see how they are doing.
Fair
Um,
enough.
okay.
By the way, something that we never really covered. I don't know if we should be doing our planning up here. But yeah, so like you're happy with the plan of like a live stream.
Oh yes,
Um,
most definitely.
yeah,
I'm absolutely happy to live stream
I don't think it would
anything.
be. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be difficult, but obviously people have to bear with us because it's going to be the first one.
Hmm.
But the idea is I will be bringing two phones and the document camera for the dice.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the idea is to have like multiple cameras and catching all of the action. But I thought, if since we've got the space, we've got like a pretty nice accommodation booked. We're gonna have our games. We might as well have people join us for that. As they're, painting their miniatures at the last moment, like the rest of us.
Exactly.
Um,
I mean, all we need, so all you actually need to stream it, right? OBS can kind of handle everything. So as long as you've got
yeah.
OBS installed on your laptop, we can connect up to one of the YouTubes. I will fight toast fisticuff style mud wrestling to get it on my channel instead of his,
Oh,
because I am
wait,
hunting
are
for
we
more
streaming on
content.
OnlyFans now? We're streaming on OnlyFans now? Is that what's happening?
We'll be on OnlyFans. Me and Toast mud wrestling to try and get to try to figure out who's going to do it.
It's
But
nice to
yeah.
see that you're finally seeing my Patreon requests for content.
So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll stream it. I think it'll be good. I think it will work. Yeah, it might be a bit janky, but it always is. Unless you have like a solid, this is my streaming setup, always set up. It's always going to be a little bit janky. Like this entire painting
oh
stream
yeah, yeah.
that I'm doing is completely janky. So
I don't know, man. It does it does what it needs to do. But
yeah,
I've
it does.
been so the reason why it's nice because it's yet another step into the testing the waters.
Hmm.
Because the reason why I have a few like a setup in mind and all of that is because I would love, right? And this is obviously like pie in the sky future stuff, but I would love to be able to stream the top tables at
Yes.
my tournaments. However, that will require a significant amount of effort. And
Yes,
yeah,
you need to set up fixed tables. You need the internet connection. You need basically someone manning OBS for you, uh,
yeah.
and it's like
Well, that's the
lapel
thing. Then
mics and whatever.
it requires more people into it and all that. But I'll figure it out. I'll see if there's a way for it to work. I will 100% uh, make it work.
Hmm.
But for some of the comments, people saying libraries engaging more with Warhammer and generally wanting to be community hubs. That's 100%. That's really cool. Um, that's a really good idea. And also, um, plan a trip to the next Warhammer World event.
Yeah.
I mean, next Warhammer World event or any Warcry events, like there's gonna be stuff everywhere. There's stuff up in the north. There's stuff down in the south. And I don't know, I'm really hoping that like it kind of kickstarts some of the other groups. Like it would be really nice to see the Southampton club put some events up. It would be really nice to see Jose down at the Pit Warcry doing some events. I know he's had a lot of success with Shadowpoint. That's taking more of his time, but it was really yeah, it's really nice. And then if we can find more people up in the north, I think that would be, if for nothing else, just for um Toast to have somewhere to be able to go and play some Warcry in
We need to
person.
give toast to the community.
Just for poor Toasty. I
Um,
know it would be nice. It would be nice.
hmm.
We'll
Right,
see.
so I've been going for a couple of hours now. Basically finished what I had in front of me in terms of getting the colors down. I think these are basically done. These the wall pieces. I really like how they came out. Let's go back here. Got the green, we've got the metallic, that's all cool. We got these pieces, which I need to do another 2, I think, of these. Which are nice. And then you got this big old like thing. This is basically done in terms of the color that I'm going to put on it. I need to do over here the bamboo, but I'll do the bamboo when I do the rest of it, I think. But overall, it's going to be a nice. I think it'll be an okay looking board. Demetrios, you're going to get something nice, I
Nice.
think.
Yeah, no, it looks great. I really like the colors. Like people very often like shy away from like big bombastic, like bright terrain. And I mean I can't really say that I've been breaking the pattern, but I really like the green on these.
Thank you.
Like it's nice and it there is something to be said about like big bright tables drawing attention across, you know,
Totally,
big
totally.
busy
Um,
busy convention floors. So yeah.
Right. So let's, because I've got like maybe another 5-10 minutes, let's go check out what's going on at Adepticon. I think, why not? Just because I can.
It might be done by now actually.
We will see. We'll see. Let's get rid of that. This is new Space Wolves. This is fun. This guy, the World Eater dude.
Oh
Let
no. Round 4 is ongoing.
Okay, let's see what we got. Adepticon champions, 32 players. They play Swamp Raid, Gift from the Gods, Lightning Raid, Brutal Encounter. So the reason why they played all this is because the TO, what's his name? Kevin wanted to make this as close to official as possible. So using missions that were released by Games Workshop, and there aren't many of them, right? There's like the Nullwood Rumble Pack, there's the core book missions, there's those White Dwarf missions to whose name I can't remember, and then there's the other one that we play basically all the time at Warhammer World. So that's why it is what it is.
So,
The event itself really caters larger swarm lists, fast swarms. Which is why no doubt we're going to see what we're going to see. We got what Wilder Corp Hunters, Soul Blight, more tribes. This is kind of expected. So let's look at the
okay.
top 8.
Let me say something.
Go for it.
Like half the warbands here are sold like Grave Lords. So I think that some of them doing well is just down to numbers.
Well, here's the thing, right? You look at the missions, and it's like, oh, I need a very large army and very large warband. And in the States, they're a lot more like, you'll see a lot more people gearing towards an event than you would in the UK, I think.
Oh yeah.
Especially like for a Warhammer World event, because Warhammer World is so big and it's central. Everybody basically comes, and it's people of all skill levels, people of all play styles and how they want to play. But I feel like in the States, if you're going to go to a place like Adepticon, you're going to build your list for Adepticon. It's not going to be, oh, I'm just going to turn up with my warband and see what it is. So that's why I think we're seeing a lot of Soul Blight Great Lords, because they genuinely play well into these missions. But what we got? We got Watercorp Hunters, crossbow, so lots of crossbows, and an Arbalister. So this is kind of expected. I think, who was it?
It's
Peter. I think it's Peter who's running.
Yeah, Peter's running the 11.
Peter's running all the crossbows.
But
this guy, Patrick's, is running not so many crossbows and an Arbalister. I think the Arbalister is a clever choice, basically, because like I ran 4 Trailblazers with crossbows, Arbalister, Calthea to get more out of all of that stuff, and that did very well. I think definitely you do want, like, you could just throw dice at people and they would die. But having an Arbalister is nice. What else we got? Austin is running Soul Blight.
So Austin is running the Zondara list, which is very similar to Toast's, and I'm like, is this a portent of things to come?
Decapitator, Zondara, Zombie, Black Knight, Toil. I mean, the Black Knight is cool. We like Black Knights. They kind of do things. It's got the Slasher Crone for regenerate. It's got Rod Decapitate out beast. No, I actually think I don't think this is anything like this. It's like, I just think there happened
Well,
to
to
be
be honest,
he
Zundara's the
happens.
only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Zondara and the zombies, because the zombies are genuinely good. It's like if I was running Daintalos and his zombies, like they do a thing. And then you've got the Decapitator zombie. This is interesting. I think this is an interesting list. It's got a lot of abilities that you can throw in there. It's got a lot of
Mm.
movement tricks and extra activation tricks from Zondara. It's got Resurrect in there from the Slasher Crone. I do think that the Slasher Crone is probably the weak link, because if I remember, it's only got like 15 wounds and toughness 4, so it will fall over dead. Like, it's not my first choice for a death. A death
No, especially if you have.
resurrect caddy.
Yeah. I still think that if you're going for utility, the Underworld's one, the Briar Queen, is
Yeah,
better if you're
Brecken's great.
going for attack. But I mean, that's all very like straightforward
Yeah, exactly.
on how that works.
Let's see what else we got. Ogre Tribes, Gut Lord, Brute Boss, Clawback, Bushwhacker.
Surprise,
It's just it's Ogre Tribes. Oh, Ogres are great. We know they're great. There isn't really much to say. He's got the Brute Boss, so he gets to do UMS and stuff. He's got Noblars. He's got a Clawback. So it's basically Destruction Soup. This one happens to be out of Ogre Tribes because he wanted very cheap Noblars to hit 2, 4, 5, 6, to hit 7 guys. That's basically it.
Ta-da!
Chad, our man Chad. Reclusians? Anslain, Gallagher. This is thingy, right? This is the Centaur guy, and his. But he's running
Centaur guy?
Ylthari.
Oh, Gallagher. No. It's Ulthari's Guardian. It's the guy in Ulthari's Guardian that has the axe, who is like a glass thing.
Because he is running Ylthari. I mean, it's interesting, right? So this Chad has where? Win, so minor. Oh, they're using major minors. My God. So minor
Yeah.
win, minor win, major win, minor win, and then we're currently on the last round. Okay, cool. Like, that's nice. It's nice to see Ylthari and her guys doing stuff.
Yeah.
Without seeing the lists and what it is, I can just like really only comment on that. But interesting, fun. Alex is running Soul Black Grave Lords. Lots of zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, we know how this works. There's lots of zombies, and they do what they do. Martin Temper, Cage Psycho. Okay, so he's on the thing. He's running Sylvaneth, Huntmaster, Hunter, Reclusium Prime. Interesting that we're seeing more Reclusium. So we've seen this quite a bit. The Reclusium Primes are coming in there. Because I think they give a very interesting.
I don't get it. I don't really get it.
So they're an interesting alternative to Annihilator Primes. They are slightly faster than Annihilator Primes, because they have their ability and they've got +1 move just off the bat. They got a very similar damage profile. I think they have the same profile as Annihilator Primes. They just don't have range 2, and they don't have the Annihilator Primes. I kill a thing, I move. So if you're not running,
they don't have the strength as well.
Reclusium Primes are strength 5, so that generally speaking, they're good enough.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, they are. Normal Reclusions are strength 4, Primes are strength 5. So
that's unusual.
Yeah, so I think if you are not running an Annihilator Prime and something like a Questor with Grandhammer to make the Annihilator Prime move quicker, it's almost better to run the Reclusium Prime, because you're getting as much damage output on a much faster base. If you get me.
Yeah, it's gonna get there this year rather than next year.
Exactly, because the Reclusium Prime has got +1 move. It's got a double that gives it bonus strength as well. So that double gives it +1 move and half the dice value on strength. So you're basically always winning on 3s, because you can just boost your strength into the sky.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Peter Merson Cabbage, yeah, he's running all the Trailblazers. Throw dice at a thing and it will die eventually. How has his games been? Major win, major loss on Lightning Raid. against Soul Black Gravelords. Austin ran thingy, right? Austin ran Decapitate a Crack Tomb Toil. That's very interesting. Okay. So all the guns did not work against Soul Black Gravelords. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised actually.
Yeah, and then Dan Salty Sea, he's running KO. Privateers, Engine Master, Company Privateer. He's got the Warden King
He's
in there,
running
so that he gets to basically keep objectives for free. And a Reclusium Prime. Again, Reclusium Prime. I'm pretty sure it's because he's not backing this up with another fast moving piece. It's basically a faster Annihilator Prime.
Yeah. So I was slightly worried when I saw. I mean, I don't know. The first. Where is he? Oh, okay. Yeah, he's submarining. That's good. But I saw the first match and I was like, I am not taking it to heart. I saw his first result and I was like, I'm not taking it to heart because our lists are
Are they
quite
similar?
different.
Ah.
No, not at all. He's gone with allies and stuff. Like I've gone for really efficient, really like attacky fighters. Some chaff, but like even my chaff, I've got two of the spear guys, and the spear guys are the lieutenants, and they go wherever the Arcanaut Admiral and the Engine Master go, because there's nothing better than like starting a round right next to an enemy leader with the Engine Master.
Sure.
You manage to snatch initiative and have a triple, and then you go Engine Master attacks, and then his lad next to him also like throws 6 attacks, strength 4, 2-5, 2-6 with these being blessed. And that like 6 attacks on 3s, 3-5, followed by 6 attacks, strength 4, 2-6, usually clears pretty much everything.
Yes.
So yeah, it's and then when it's time for the, even if you have to go second, you know, with the swing back, you just get to do a good deal, which is, by the way, such a misnomer. It's a terrible deal for the person that's taking it. It's a good deal for me. It's always been a good deal for me.
Sure.
But yeah,
well, we'll see.
it's
We'll see how
slightly
it does,
different.
right?
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. I'm not stressing about it.
That's okay. Just go there, play some games. You'll be fine. Right. So anyway, we have come to about 2 hours. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for joining me, Demetrios.
Yeah, no worries.
Been
My pleasure,
fun.
as always.
Yeah. Having someone to talk to instead of me shouting into the void like the weird old man. So, yeah, that's
We're
it.
all in the same. We're all in the same boat, aren't we?
And we're all in the same boat. Exactly. So yeah, guys, thank you everybody for watching. I should be back as far as I know, or maybe I won't be back next Thursday. No, next Thursday it is we're doing something for my wife's birthday, so I won't be around next Thursday. I'll be around the Thursday after. We'll continue painting this stuff. We'll get through it. We'll finish it. Maybe we'll have a surprise from Games Workshop. Who knows? As a side note, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but before I did this, I was a game streamer. So I started a. Basically, I have hundreds of hours worth of stuff, content that no one's ever seen. So I've uploaded all that onto my second YouTube channel. So check that out if you guys want to see. But yeah, thank you everybody. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.
See you later.